I remember talking to you and you gave me I didn't want to hear it, I didn't want to hear nothing from you. I'd
Never
roll my
have.
eyes.
Never
No.
have.
You told me about the steak not being prepared. Would I want a steak if it wasn't prepared?
Mhm.
No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't want that. But when is the steak gonna get prepared? And 2020, was not a good year for a lot of people, but it was my best year in life as an adult.
This episode of the Ridiculously Blessed podcast is brought to you by Get Paid with Podcasting. Learn how to use podcasting to increase your leads, become the authority in your industry, and increase your income, even if you have a small audience. Visit www.getpaidwithpodcasting.com. Also brought to you by Frida J Skincare, results-driven skincare. Welcome to the Ridiculously Blessed podcast. I'm your host, Tim Jackson. I'm here today with family, Kelly Spruill.
Yeah.
We were having a little bit of technical difficulties, but we got we got it done. We got over to Zoom and we're getting started. So Kelly, how are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you. And yourself?
Doing good, doing good, doing
Okay.
good. So Kelly, it's been a little bit of a trying evening, but you got it and we're ready to go, right?
Right.
All
Right.
right.
It was, yeah, we're ready.
All
Okay.
right. So for those of you that don't know, Kelly and I grew up basically together. She was like my little sister. There were very few times that either of us went anywhere where the other one wasn't there. I remember tagging along Christmas shopping, I was a part of the family and throwing stuff in the cart along with her. So they tried to teach me how to swim as a kid, and that didn't work out so well. I never did learn how to swim, but everything that they did, we were together. And Kelly has grown so much over the years, and we just wanted to sit down and catch up, and we're just inviting you to our conversation. So Kel, first thing is, let's go back. Let's go back in time. I remember, like I said, us hanging out together, going swimming in the summer, and like playing cars together, games together, whatever it may be. Kind of, what do you remember from the childhood days?
just having, I don't remember ever being bored. I remember having too much to do and never wanting to come in, never wanting to stop. All the energy we had, all the fun we had, just finding things to do. And looking back, it was not a bad time at home. Being with playing the little stuff we used to do, the Matchbox cars. Um, yeah, it was always fun looking back.
So yeah, you're right, Kelly. We were never bored. It was always something to do, and it seems like those times have changed a bit. So one of the things I want to talk to you about is, have you noticed any of the changes since we've grown up? Kids. I mean, we grew up in a neighborhood where all the kids in the neighborhood kind of hung out and played together. You name it, we played that game, and you know, when one person saw you on the street, it was like family. It was always family. Like you walk down to the store and there's family there. Do you feel like things have changed a little bit, or what do you think?
Well, I think things have changed. It's as when we were children, we knew how to get out and socialize with each other. You would go knock on somebody's door. You weren't afraid to go knock on your friend's door because it was time to come out and play. And as for the family, going to the store and little things like that, you knew the whole neighborhood. And now I don't think kids or anybody do that. Like, I don't even know my neighbor well enough to go ask for a cup of sugar. And that's not how it was when we were little. Too many people, probably including myself, are involved in, of course, what everybody says, the technology. But that's just the way of the world. I mean, it's sad to look back because that time was fun and um, everybody was so social and probably nicer.
Yeah. One of the
So
things I often think about is like we didn't really at the time we didn't appreciate what we had like as a family or as a neighborhood, where we could rely on each other. If you needed something and somebody in the neighborhood knew that you needed something, they made sure to it that you could get that. And
Oh yes.
and I remember, like, your grandmother and Aunt Laura, when
Hmm.
when somebody needed something in the neighborhood, we were there and we saw how she would give her last if she had it. She was just always there to take care of, whoever needed anything in the neighborhood, whether they were like family, or just in the community. And you feel like that kind of shaped like who you are today?
It does because I think about grandma a lot and how she was just genuinely nice. Even yeah, genuinely nice to everybody. And I try to think about how good she was and how I would like to be. But uh it shouldn't be a but behind that. You do wonder, would the people do the same thing for me if I needed something? So and grandma would have never thought about that. But I do try to be helpful. But sometimes you can be too helpful and be taking it for granted. Probably like grandma was, but again, she didn't care. She came from a different time when everybody did that. You took care of everybody's children, you helped everybody, you did everything you could as grandma did.
Mhm.
So, but
It,
yeah.
yeah, and I often think of her because my favorite scripture is Galatians 6:9, and it says, "Do not grow weary in doing good, for in due season you will reap, if you faint not." And I think back to that time because I remember going to snap peas with her, and helping to carry the laundry before I was going to school, with her. And I remember how much she did in a day, where somebody from the outside may say, she was retiring at home or that kind of work, but she really did work hard.
Well, it's true. I remember being very little, and I think you may have been in school, and I probably was 3 or 4. I can remember grandma washing clothes on that wash machine that you
Mhm,
fed it through and
mhm.
hanging things on the line. Who would do that today? So no, grandma was not. She did a whole lot more than us. The house was never dirty. You didn't go to bed until it was clean. She cooked. We didn't even have running water for a short period, in our old greenhouse. So how did she collect water, wash clothes? I mean, cook? It was great. I didn't know. So and grandma wasn't lazy. I mean, we're the ones, if something bad happened, I don't know if we know how to can a can of greens or whatever she can. I
Right.
remember it, but I never thought I'd have to do it. Or so no, grandma wasn't lazy.
Mhm. Yep. And again, that's kind of what shaped us. Now, the story that I tell all the time, and you you really don't remember it, but I'm gonna go there again. Is when we were kids, only had one. We only had one argument, and it was a one man argument because I was mad, and you don't remember it. But I remember it was one time. We had some food, and I slapped it out of your hand, and I remember I was mad about it, and you're like, "What are you talking about?"
The cheeseburger.
The cheeseburger. There you go.
I do not remember it. I'm sorry that you're upset about it. And I usually remember everything, but it's funny how it sticks with you, though.
Yeah.
You
Every
wish you
time.
hadn't did it.
Yep. Every time I think about it, it makes me laugh because I was telling my kids about it one time. They was like, "Well, why did you do it then?" And I was like, "I don't even know."
I wonder why. Oh my God! I hope it didn't hurt me. I do remember since you said that.
Mhm.
You probably don't remember this. I was at your house and I had an ink pen in my mouth, and you threw a pill at me, and that ink pen cut me way up in my gum. And to this day, my gum healed funny.
Mhm.
You cut the skin out, and I've
I,
I've showed people.
I don't
Yeah,
believe
my
it.
my cousin did that,
I don't
and
believe it. People, she's
so
spreading lies out here
that's
in the
not.
street.
So we can be even there. I'll
Okay.
be. Oh, yeah, but it's all done now. But that cheeseburger must have been good because.
I ain't even eat it. That's the worst part. I threw the trash. but
But
that leads me to my next question. Is one thing that you and I had talked about is forgiveness. Forgiveness is a big part of growing. And I remember we had a conversation about that, and you were like, well, you said you were a little bit slower to forgive, but I wanted to talk a little bit about that.
Okay. Where should I start?
All right. So have you gotten to the point where you're like, you know what? I am comfortable forgiving people.
I won't lie. I'm not. I'm working on that, and I haven't gotten to that point yet.
Hmm.
And it takes a lot of energy because the people that you should forgive, they don't even know that you have a problem with them. It could be something from long in the past. What you know, I remember a lot of things. And a lot of people don't remember, why didn't she speak to me? Or why did she speak to me with that attitude? Because I guess I get forgiven and forgetting.
Hmm.
Maybe I haven't gotten there yet. I mean, it's long gone. It takes a lot of energy. So that's something I'm still working on,
Hmm.
forgiving. Um, yeah, I
And,
wish that I could get there,
mhm.
but the past, and some people hold on to it because it affects you as an adult.
Right.
For instance, I had a boy in school once, well, many times. He was not very nice to me, and he didn't remember, and so it meant nothing to him.
Hmm.
But when I saw him probably after 20 years, I think I gave him an evil eye. He probably had no idea who is this girl and why is she looking at me that way.
Right.
And so it's a waste of my time to be mad. So I should forgive. I just haven't gotten there yet.
And I would agree it's a process. It is a
Mhm.
process to try to forgive people, but you forgive not for them, but for you. Because like you said, you've been carrying for 20 years. When you see so and so, it's on.
Yeah, you
and, and
know.
and they've
Mhm.
gone on about their lives not thinking anything, and they're just happy to see you because they see an old friend from school.
An old associate, an
Yeah.
old person they used to know. I wouldn't even call them friends.
Yeah,
And I won't lie about that. An
and
old person they used to know.
but in their mind, they see you as a friend, like, "Hey, Kelly, how you doing?"
Yeah,
And you look at
yeah.
them like, "Mm-hmm." I know that
I
look.
I I actually had that happen last week, and I kept it short and hello, hey, and kept walking. So
Yep.
yeah.
Yep. But
Uh,
it, like I said, it is a process, and different people learn it differently. All
and
right.
they do.
Yeah. Now, one of the other things that you and I've had a conversation about is we talked about losing our fathers. When I was 28, I lost my dad, and you were actually there with me because I remember you telling me, hey, it'll be okay, and like that really changed basically the way I was living life at the time. It made me realize, hey, you need to grow up. Now I was 28 and should have been grown up and had had kids or a kid by then, but it really kind of woke me up to say you need to get it together and grow up. So kind of going back to that, do you what kind of lessons did you pull from like those times?
With my dad,
Yeah.
losing him or just being with him?
Both. Both.
Well, I had an excellent father. I didn't know that. I was a brat. He knew who I was. I could have been, I was a child. He passed away when I was 24. I think I had just turned 24. So I feel like it wasn't enough time with him. It's so many more questions that I should have asked. Um, I didn't take all the advice from him that I should have. I mean, looking back, back then you think you know everything.
Hmm.
One thing oh well, he told me to always be prepared.
Hmm.
Um, Keep your credit good, which was important to me, and I did listen to that. But there were a lot of things that I was defiant on. And like I said, I didn't appreciate him. I should have asked more questions. I would love to know. But the lessons I took, he was a good person. He was a good father. He was always positive towards me. And I try to think about that. I didn't love myself as much as I should have as a child, but he never, you know, he would always tell me, I was his daughter. Of course, I was perfect to him. And I just wish that he could have saw me now. That is like, what is it? 17 years ago, I believe.
Hmm.
Yeah, Mia wasn't even born yet.
Hmm.
And I wish that he could see the different Kelly then that I am now. He'd be proud of me, my husband, what I've accomplished. but he was just a nice guy. He had a lot of knowledge that I remember. I don't remember all the stories. I wish I had, but my dad was very polite, a good man, and I know he can see me, but I wish that I know he can see me, but I wish he was here because I do remember. I'm repeating myself. A lot of things he told me, and
Mm-hmm.
most of them were correct because yeah,
Yeah.
good father, good motivator. You
Mm-hmm.
know.
And I remember him, like I said, treating me like I was your older brother. Everywhere you guys were going, he would make sure I could go.
Hmm.
And one time I couldn't go, he felt bad. And I remember crying because I couldn't go to Busch Gardens. I went later, and I didn't miss out on anything.
Hey, I remember that. I remember that, and Timmy, I don't know why you couldn't go. I think it was my Girl Scout trip or something.
Yeah, it was. I think he had to work at the last minute.
That's it. That's
Yeah,
it. And there
and
was no gas.
yep, yeah.
I'm
So
sorry.
so
I'm
I remember
sorry.
it just tore me to pieces, tore me to pieces. But he said he was going to make up for it, so he made sure that he took me to, I think it was King's Dominion or another
Oh.
amusement park, and I was like, he didn't have to do that, but he wanted to make sure that like I was always a part of what you guys were doing and taking me, trick or treating and those kinds of things. But what I remember is like being an example for what a father should be,
Mhm.
what a man should be, and those same kind of lessons. Like when he got his new house, he's like, come on over and see it. And I remember him explaining to me like the process of getting it and how you can get it and that kind of thing. And like we used to argue about our dads like they were superheroes, whose dad is better. I remember.
Did we do that?
Yeah, I
Oh
remember we was
gosh.
doing that, but like we had like two good dads, and
Mhm.
I always say that the men in the neighborhood who were here all taught us lessons, good or bad. They all taught us lessons,
Mhm.
and like your dad was one of the ones that taught me a lot of lessons as well.
Yeah. Miss him, love him. He went too soon, and he was a good lesson. I mean, a lot of things I didn't listen to, but he was always right. And
Yeah.
I remember a lot of them. I didn't remember that Busch Garden story, Timmy, until just now. I had never thought of it, but it's like it was in my head. And I'm so sorry that you couldn't go
No,
because I remember that.
it's funny now looking back because it looked like I passed out at the door, Kelly. I was like, you'd have thought somebody shot me. I just dropped. Boom. But it's all good. Like I said, he made sure to make up for it
Yeah.
by like any movie that came out. Anytime you guys were going swimming or
Hmm.
anything like that, try to teach me how to swim, and I never did really learn. But but he always tried to make up for that one thing, and I was like, man, it was pretty awesome, pretty awesome.
Hmm.
And okay, the other part is your mom was the same way. She or is the same way. I can't say was is the same way. Always looking out. And then now that my kids are older, she still looks out for them too. She helped us this past year. We got the new puppy, and we weren't sure what to do. She made sure that we knew, everything to do with the puppy. She loves the pets that my daughter's been bringing in, the hamster, the puppy, the fish. If we go on vacation, she's like, I'll take care of them. So again, it's the same spirit, like started with your grandmother, with your mom and dad, and it's carrying on now. It's that spirit of, I'm gonna help my family.
Hmm. And I want to get back to that. I want to get better with that. I wish we, I wish everybody could be more family oriented because life is too short
Mhm.
and we don't know. Like I was talking to Isaac, my husband, he was asking me about my grandma, and I said she could cook, but I thought she would never die.
Mhm.
So I mean, I was too little, I didn't think about that. So I don't know any of her recipes, and I wish we all could just get more family oriented, not just everybody. It be it like it once was.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. And then that brings up another memory. I remember as kids, we were sitting on the couch. Do you remember trying to flip the couch over by rocking back into the couch?
I think we did that. The old
That was
it
so
was
dangerous.
it was dangerous, but did we
Yeah.
have any fear at that time?
No, none
You
at
know,
all. None at
I
all.
mean, it was the early 80s. The couch was strong. It
Mhm.
wasn't gonna break, so it was the right thing to do.
Yep, definitely.
Mhm.
Here, speaker. What's going on, family? Had to interrupt the episode really quick just to let you know about this free gift that I have for you. All right. If you're a speaker who's out there and you're tired of sliding in DMs, you're tired of sending cold call emails and still not getting a response, but you want to generate revenue, right? You want to explode your leads and you're trying to find a way to build your credibility, well, go to getpaidwithpodcasting.com. I have a free training just for you. Now, back to the episode.
So now let's go back again and thinking to where you are now. Okay. Happily married, Black love at its finest. There was a point where you really didn't see that for yourself, right?
No.
So you do you mind sharing that with us? Well, talk to me about that.
Well, do I take it back to when I was younger or do I?
Wherever you want to go with it.
Okay. No, I didn't. I mean, okay, I'll be real here. I didn't have a lot of friends in school. Definitely didn't have a lot of boyfriends. Did some things I wish I hadn't that got me nowhere. It was a sad story looking back, and I can remember being jealous or envious, and you shouldn't envy, but I was. I just wanted someone to love me and to love me back. Went through a lot of bad relationships with boyfriends. And I remember talking to you and you gave me I didn't want to hear it, I didn't want to hear nothing from you. I
Never
rolled
have.
my eyes.
Never
No.
have.
You told me about the steak not being prepared. Would I want a steak if it wasn't prepared?
Mhm.
No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't want that. But when is the steak gonna get prepared? And 2020, was not a good year for a lot of people, but it was my best year in life as an adult.
Mm.
I met Isaac, and I tell the story to everybody. We got married in 12 days. I met him in December. We got married in January. We eloped, not a real elope to Las Vegas, but and it's the best thing I've ever did. I never thought that I could be not grouchy or just happy about waking up and having somebody that wanted to be with me and cared about my well-being genuinely, not for what I could do for them or what I had or what I could provide.
Mhm. Now
And
let's
I
go.
can.
I know the story how you met, but I want to hear it. I want you to tell me the story
Okay.
about when you first met. Oh, what was that like?
Well, I'll be honest. I had I'm gonna say it, a bunch of losers, in my life, and I wasn't even. Okay. I'm gonna start back. I was gonna go out with a guy. He didn't have no money. He pretty much wanted me to pay for his food. I took him home, meaning he didn't have a car. And he called me weird. I came back to this house, Timmy, and my niece was living with me at the time. And I had a breakdown. I was so upset. And I swore off men. I said, Work and bed is going to be my life." And anyway, I had that and got through that and went to Walmart one day. And this guy asked me, and hello, smile, and I got the grout. Hi, you know, what's your name? Kelly. My voice. Like,
Mhm.
what do you
Don't
want?
want to be
What do you?
bothered.
And I seen he had a blanket or something and detergent in the basket. So I gave him a chance because he must have somewhere to wash clothes and a blanket for some reason. Had his own car, had a job, had his own place to stay. Have never met a man like that in all my years. So we exchanged numbers. And I walked out. I ain't gonna never hear from this boy again. Oh God, is he married? How many girlfriends do we got running around? He called me that night and we talked constantly. I couldn't, he used to work until 11 at night. I'd be excited to hear from him when he got off work. And it was a time we talked so much. I had to be at work at 7 the next morning. We talked all the way till I got to work. So we got no sleep. So we joke that we got married to get sleep. But it was great. It was all talk and we were, yeah, it was just great to meet him because I thought I would never hear from him again. You
Mhm.
know, I'm thinking, what does he want? I didn't have on no makeup when I saw him. My hair wasn't done. I was in Walmart. You know, it's one of those the people you see in Walmart. Oh God. And I really had an attitude. What now? He is too cute to be anything. What do you want? And he just probably looked at me like, ugh, let me make her happy. So so yeah, it was great. And we met on December, I'm gonna say 19th, and got married on January 10th.
Mhm.
Hmm. So
So what's looking back now, God had to throw someone right there in front of you and you were almost about to block your blessing. Do you ever look at it like that? Like, wow, I was this close to telling him to get lost and look at this.
well, telling Isaac to get lost,
Yes.
I was because I prayed. I used to pray, even with the attitude. God, I would say my prayer. And I never thought it would happen. And I really just thought another loser. And I think I was so bored at that time. Let me just talk to him for a couple minutes. And I never thought he would call. I wasn't gonna call him. And I was that close. And it's all coincidence. What if I hadn't went to Walmart that day? Um, it was meant to be. And I never thought anything like that would ever happen. And I talked to him, and I didn't. To me, I'm not a. I would never say this if it hadn't happened to me, because people said it to me, and it really was let go and let God. And that's hard coming from me.
Mm-hmm.
You know me, and I think all that trying to be happy or to make myself happy, to be happy with myself. I was trying so hard to be something I wasn't, and doing a lot of things I shouldn't, and look back and wish I hadn't. But Isaac said he's glad I went through everything I went through.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of got mad at him. And he said, no, you wouldn't be what you are today. You wouldn't have met me. You wouldn't have your attitude. And what was the question again? Um, I Googled. Yeah, I
No,
was
it
that close. I was
yeah,
that close.
yeah,
And I think God really said, okay, she done. Now I got it. You should
yeah.
have did that a long time ago, Kelly.
Mhm.
Because it was a sad moment, which is okay for a second. We all have that. And it was Kendall. We laugh about it a little bit. She's never seen me though. It was a breakdown. I didn't know people. You try to be so strong and like everything is okay, and it's what I allowed myself to go through. I didn't have to do any of that, but I'm so glad that I went to Walmart that day and met him. And I'll say it. I hate Walmart. You know.
Walmart, if you would sponsor this podcast, I will learn to love you. Lo- but see, thinking back though, thinking back over, I guess the heartache and things before then, um, it was worth it, right? If you had to do all over again to get to this point,
Oh,
it's still worth it.
it is worth it. God, I wouldn't want to do it again. I wish I was a different Kelly to do it again. But yeah, I would do it all again because the best thing that happened to me and for me. So I would do it again. I would just hope that it would pass a little sooner.
Mhm.
But yeah, it was worth it.
Hey, they say you wouldn't know the sweet if you didn't have bitter. So,
Yeah.
yep, it's definitely a lesson in it.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
And
so now let's talk about you today. You smiling, everything is good, you happy. So what's next for Kelly?
to keep being positive, try to improve, I mean, you can't always be positive, but try to improve the health part now. Try to just get better, live better, and that's hard for everybody. We all want to do this. A lot of temptations in the world, but just try to move on. Just always be positive, thinking about the next thing to do, staying one step ahead.
Mhm.
I think it's important for everybody in the world. Not saying I have a great one, have a savings account,
Mhm.
That's important. That's something I wouldn't talk about, and even if it's a month. Uh, but just try to get better. Try to be happy, be more happy with who I am if I can improve, cannot improve. And uh, yeah, just
All right. And the
try
next
to.
thing is when you and I talked, we talked a little bit about the things that you and your husband are involved in. He's into music and audio, and we talked about you guys doing a podcast and kind of talking to the world a little bit more. Um, so what are any plans for that? And
We,
this is your time to shout out your husband's business, please.
oh, okay. One Stop Studio. Oh God, I want to give the address. 1700 East Broad Street. What is it? Broad Street, Charlottesville, Virginia. One Stop Studio. 434-400-8697. That's um Isaac. His name is Isaac. He's from New York. He used to do music production. He does mixing and mastering now. I don't know what that quite means. We have a photo studio in there. We do some t-shirt press, but mostly it's recording. I've recorded some things. It's really fun. Not saying I'm nowhere near, yeah, I've did some recordings. So it's a lot of mixing and mastering to be done on that. I don't mind sharing it, but Isaac said I may not want to do that. And yeah, he does that. And oh, the podcast. Yeah, we're gonna work on that. We want
Yeah,
to do that,
yeah.
but he's from New York, so just leave it at that. He's on a different level. So it's talked about. We haven't did it, but if anybody, your podcast are more positive. If
Mm.
anybody got any debates, he's about debating. So yeah,
She want to argue, y'all. She want to
yeah,
argue.
yeah.
But no,
So
listen, there's a space for everything. Like there's an
mhm.
audience for any and everything. So you definitely want to get your stories out there. It's good to have debates and discussions on things that are affecting our everyday lives. So that's why I
Mhm.
was like, hey, look, get your podcast, get your stories out, and make sure you share it with the world because like you said, not everybody had access to the things that you guys had access to. Not everybody knows the stories and the things that you guys been through. So it's always good to share, just in case somebody else is, going down the same path and like, oh wait, this is somebody else that I can relate to.
And you're right. I would like to. It's a lot more I would love to. Yeah. I think a lot of even young girls need to know. I don't know if it's different now with your children growing up. I think they need to know how much they mean to somebody. So
Mm.
even something like that, sharing something like that, you don't have to try to fit in. You're not going to fit in, and who cares if you don't? It took me so long to know that. So little things like that, and even something else, girls and boys. Something could happen right now, and it's the worst thing in the world, but you don't know. You live through it, and
Mhm.
I didn't know that a lot. You live through it. It's just a moment that means nothing. So
Yep,
it's a
definitely.
lot to get, and just be who you are. Yeah. Wish somebody had told me that. But yeah, a lot of things to share, who we are, be patient. And I don't have patience, so I can't believe I'm saying that. Mm-hmm.
So that's what we're gonna work on. By the time you come back to do the podcast, we're gonna talk about patience and we're gonna
Oh,
talk about forgiveness.
that's gonna be a long podcast and a lot of them because you've been knowing me for a long
Look,
time.
I didn't say forgetness. I said forgiveness. There's a difference.
uh, because you know me, I see somebody I used to know. Ah, I remember, I ain't, and so it ain't forgetting. So that's gonna be a lot, and yeah, we can work on it. But you know me,
All right.
you know me.
So by the end of this year, if you're looking forward, where is Kelly in December of this year?
Um, uh, I don't know. I hope to have some goals accomplished. Looking forward to paying my car off.
Mhm.
I mean, I don't know if that's so where I am. I hope I'm healthier. Uh, and I don't mean I'm sick. I just hope I'm in better health. Of course, you always want to be in better health. And I hope I'm Well, I will be. Let's put up like that. I'll
I
be
was
in
gonna
better
say,
health.
I was gonna say, you're gonna have to
um,
speak it as if it's already
yeah,
there. Like I will be. I will be.
yeah. Um, I will be. Let's just say I will be more positive.
All right. That's a good
Hmm.
start. That's a good
But
start.
actually, I'm making some changes. I can't mention it now, but I hope we do have another. I hope we do get to do this again because it's something I'm working on. It's something I'm trying to eliminate in my life. Some negative, some negativity, and I can't talk about it now, but it's no big secret. I'm not in the mob or nothing. But yeah, but yeah, it will. The next, if we do this again, it will be something to be more positive about. So
Okay.
yeah, in December, it will. I will be. Yeah, I will have different things going on.
Okay. All right.
Hmm.
And again, make sure you just say it. Say it with your chest. Say it like you mean it. Just be like,
I
hey, look,
will.
this is yeah, there you go. I will. That's
Hmm.
where it starts at.
Hmm.
Just
Yeah.
being positive every day.
Hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so now let's go back. Let's talk about again, we talk about lessons and blessings. What is one of the major lessons that you take away from like what you've been through in life?
Uh, I think one of the major lessons is, oh my goodness, Timmy, don't just learn what I already said. You live through it.
Mhm.
I think that's a lesson. Um, it's a lot of lessons. You live through it. Things aren't as bad as they seem. It's so many. You be who you are. That's about it. Don't change for anybody. And that's something I struggled with for a while. So that's one of my lessons now. And I'm not trying to be anybody else. I'm not trying to change who I am. You know, uh, one of the lessons I think is just what I said. You live through it. And don't let anybody ever, and as an adult, it's easier to say this, but don't let anybody ever tell you that they're better than you and you're not good enough. Or don't let anybody, uh, what is it, spoil your joy. Don't let them ruin your joy. And people are good with doing that, even as an adult. But if I could tell children, even child Kelly, that, I wish I had known that as a child. And that is a lesson. No one's going to upset me. Nobody's ever going to be mean to me again. Always defend yourself. I mean, I'm a different person, so that's one of my lessons. That's a lesson I wish I had known, and I do have now.
All right. Okay, now looking back again, over the years, what would you say is your biggest or one of your biggest blessings? What's the first
Um,
blessing that it just pops to your mind?
Having my mother,
Mhm.
she's been a supporter to me, even when I do something crazy. Um, my mom has always been a blessing, and she only always wants to help me. And I learned that as I got older. Parents become different as you, well, maybe for me, your parents can get on your nerves, but they only want to help. And that's my biggest blessing, still having my mom and having her to help me and support me, because I really don't think anybody will ever love you like your mother. And a blessing now really is Isaac. I'm so glad he's here for me. And I don't know if that's the right way to say it, but he's a blessing to me because he's the only man to me outside of my family who has ever loved me. And that means a lot to me. And I even say probably even really liked me just for being plain old Kelly. This isn't a different thing, but the color of my skin, the way my hair looked, my weight, never ever made me feel any kind of way about that. So he's a blessing.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, thank you, Kelly, for spending some time with me again today. And
Okay.
like I said, we want to have you back again and have
All right.
have more discussions as I grow and learn how to ask questions and learning more about being a podcaster. Want to have you back. We're looking forward to
Okay.
seeing your podcast.
Uh,
I'm gonna call you in a few weeks and say, okay, I need the date on when you're launching your podcast.
Okay, we could do that.
All right,
Uh,
there we go. Oh.
Thank you.
Put some
Thank you.
pressure on you there. Be like,
I
"Oh,
see.
yep." I'll be like, "You told me."
Well,
But
what
yeah,
had happened was,
yeah, yeah. So the one thing is, it's good to see you smiling, and happy. Like I remember telling Isaac, I don't think I've ever seen you smile this much in your life.
probably not.
So you've got that uncontrollable smile now, which is great because just mentioning his name makes you smile. And coming home and knowing that he's there or he's on his way is making you smile. So congratulations on, what is it? It's 2 years now, 1 year? 2 years.
It's 2 years
2
in a
years.
few months.
There you go.
Mhm.
All right. So congratulations on 2 years and looking forward to many, many more. Still want to get you guys on the podcast together. So we can talk a little more, that Isaac can get to know him as well. And then he can plug himself because you were hesitating there. No, just
Yeah,
like
well, that's going to be comical with us together. So I'm anxious to see that too.
there you
So,
go. So listen, when you guys get ready to do the first podcast, let me know and I'll help produce it. That way
all
y'all can
right.
just be yourselves. All right.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. So again, thank you,
Okay.
Kelly, for being on, and I appreciate you sitting in with me.
All right. No problem. Good talking to you.
Thank you for watching the Ridiculously Blessed podcast. Find more episodes on YouTube at ridiculously